Welcome back. Way up north, way off the grid, lies a one-of-a-kind architectural landmark that is set to open in a matter of months. It's being built by a well-known Minnesotan, legendary polar explorer Will Steger. He has pulled off a slew of firsts in his life, but this is what he hopes will be his legacy. Heidi Wigdahl has more on the new center and its mission and the man behind it.
Nature can paint a picture of what's possible. 12 miles from Canada, at the end of the road in Ely, Minnesota. It's in nature.
Isn't this pretty?
Will Steger
Really touching.
finds the answers.
To me, life is about beauty. This is raw beauty all the time here.
The beauty, bordered by the Boundary Waters,
We're North Country here.
brought Will to Ely at 19, where he built his first home.
Woodworking is really peaceful. Working with your hands.
Will was not only self-taught,
I never had formal instruction.
but a self-starter.
It all had to do with my parents.
He grew up one of 10 kids with the freedom to explore.
We had pretty much total freedom. As a young kid, I never saw boundaries. That's what made all the difference.
Since his 20s, Will has lived here off the grid in the wilderness. 25 of those years without a road.
Biggest compromise in my life was putting a road in. Never thought I'd see that, but I put the road in order to build the center here.
The Steger Center sits next to Will's cabin, an architectural marvel, decades in the making.
I've been building this since 1987. I wanted to build a center in the wilderness to bring national and world leaders. I thought that would make the biggest impact on my life.
The goal is to bring leaders together to solve seemingly unsolvable problems.
What I'm doing here, it's only possible in nature. You couldn't achieve that type of inspiration that you need and togetherness within a group. It's all about a team.
Will has worked in teams his whole life, most notably
The pole had never been done unsupported,
as a polar explorer,
and everybody said it was impossible. I really realized I could do that.
but not alone. In March of 1986, an 8-member team set out on what would become a 56-day journey to the North Pole.
We had 5 sleds. Each sled carried 1,700 pounds of food, and we left at 72 below zero. I mean, it was just like brutal. Ice ridges, 30, 40 feet high that we had to chop. It was no certainty until the moment we got there, and even then we didn't know if we had made it. It was kind of doing almost the impossible.
On May 1st, the 1986 Steger International Polar Expedition made history as the first unsupported expedition to the North Pole.
I also knew that the world would open up to me if I made the pole, and it did.
What followed was a slew of more firsts. But behind every expedition was a purpose and a platform. In 89 to 90, Will led the first dog sled traverse of Antarctica. 6 people, 6 different countries, one goal of preserving Antarctica from mineral exploration.
That drew world attention, and the leaders changed their opinion. Through a 2-year project, it was reversed, and Antarctica now is preserved. Diversity is your power. Strong opposing viewpoints around a common goal. It has to be facilitated. Facilitation is key.
That's the foundation of the center.
But my ultimate legacy is the Steger Center.
While in a tent in Antarctica, Will designed the center,
That was the drawing I made.
going from an idea to a reality.
I spent about $250,000 a year for 30 years on this place. There were years I couldn't walk in there. It was just like, wow, there's so much to do.
But now it's nearly finished.
Electricity here is all solar, off the grid, period.
100% of their own energy will power every floor,
5th floor, yeah.
offering a new view.
Romeo and Juliet deck. You cannot do this without a quiet mind, and that's what the wilderness is about.
The quiet mind, the explorer's mindset, and collective wisdom, the center's 3 core principles.
Because of this divisive world, it's almost a collective nervousness. People are out of touch and really struggling to try to find the solutions.
It's his hope. It's found in the wilderness.
And I'm always in it for the long run. I've seen faith and effort and the impossible, and I've actually seen it happen.
They are doing everything right now to keep fundraising to finish the campus. They're currently raising funds for phase 1, which will help them complete the commercial kitchen, and then also a building that will include 12 bedrooms. They had a trial run with their first leadership retreat at the center last year and have 4 groups coming this year starting in August. Pretty cool story. All right, well, the Olympic Games aren't the only thing drawing crowds in Milan. Alicia has a closer look at the photo op that has fans and athletes lining up.
Arms up, gotta go big.
1, 2, 3.
3 we jump.
You can't help yourself here at the Games. People see the rings and grab a camera. Olympians have the skills to go big. Aging parents like us start low. But we should at least try, right?
1, 2, 3.
3 we jump.
1, 2, 3.
One more. I have no vertical.
Try again. 1, 2, 3.
I got 2 centimeters off the ground, maybe.
Hey, Alicia was a volleyball player. She still has some hops. Stick with us. We got more news coming up after the break.